We're doing a television special with Karen David. Now tell me about your childhood days. It's amazing. I think at the age of 6 or 7, you were featured with Bill Cosby in a Jello commercial. That's how you started your career. And there was no turning back after that. You kept on, going from there on. You were born in Darjeeling in India. No, Shillong in India. I'm sorry, yeah. Shillong in India.
Close enough. Close. All tea plantation area.
Right. And then, you moved to Canada when you were very young. Now tell me about your parents.
Oh, my parents? How long have we got? They are wonderful and have been, they're like my best friends. And they have always been very open-minded as far as, me following my dreams, and which is a big help, to have that emotional support system. Because in this industry, in music and film, there are a lot of great people, but there are also not so great people too, and you also face a lot of rejection, and it's, a lot of the unknown and ups and downs. And so to have a very strong family unit who are just so very grounded and just put things in perspective for me all the time when I'm thinking, oh no, what am I doing? It's just wonderful to have them behind me.
That's wonderful. Well, you got a lot of support from your mom and dad when you were a child, and being a child artist itself. So tell me about that period of the development, say Bill Cosby's,
I know, I just, I don't know what made me pick up that phone and just make the call to the casting director. But I just knew, ever since I was a kid, from what I can remember, I knew that I wanted to be a singer and an actress. And that's all I wanted to be. I was so in love with Olivia Newton-John's album when I was a little girl, and my parents would always take me to Ontario Place. Back in the day when they had the free concerts, and we'd go watch all the Motown artists from Smokey Robinson to the Temptations and the OJs, Kool and the Gang. I mean, my love for music, is because my parents absolutely loved music as well. So that's where it kind of all started. And it was just one Sunday when my father was reading the paper and he was reading the current events, to my sister and I growing up, that I just kind of got a bit distracted, and I saw in the comic section this ad that said, it was like a cattle call, an open call, looking for cute kids for a Jello commercial. So I just instinctively just tore it out and snuck into my parents' room and made the call, because my parents always said right from when I was a kid that, we don't really have connections in the film industry and music industry, so you have to work really hard if that's what you want to do. And you have to take the initiative. So I just assumed by doing that I was taking the initiative, and then the rest is history, as they say.
You studied in Boston. You went to a very prestigious music school.
Yes.
And you studied both jazz and gospel music.
Yes.
It's fascinating. Jazz is more extemporizing, and gospel is more traditional music. Now, you found a correlation between the two. So tell us about it.
Well, when I went to Berklee College of Music, they want you to dip into different genres of music, because, part of being a student and going to a music college is also to explore different genres and figure out which is your niche, which is what you like. And I love all genres of music. I take inspiration, especially when I'm writing songs and being creative. I take ideas from all kinds of music, from classical, from Bach to Handel's Messiah, right down to, to the latest Britney track or whatever. It's from one end to the other. So when I was at Berklee, they encouraged us to explore, these different genres. So I would go. I loved it. They called me Little Karen because I was the tiniest in the gospel choir, and it was great because they sing from the heart. And it's their faith in God, and it's just so wonderful and inspiring, to be, with such amazing singers that really sing from the heart and soul. And then jazz music was just so wonderful to study Sarah Vaughan, Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald. And have teachers that were so, passionate about, jazz music. So it was great to study that as well. So it was a good time. I trained also in classical music, and I did Royal Conservatory in Toronto.
Wow.
So it was important to kind of dip and dive into different areas. In fact, when I did my theory exam, I'll never forget, I had studied so much for my theory and harmony exam, and my father was running late, and my mom was so stressed out saying, oh my gosh, you know, we got to get her on time. So I lost about 15 minutes of the exam time, but I still passed with honors, so that was great, thank goodness.
You know, it's fascinating. It takes me on to another story, you know. I have a good friend who's a common friend of yours as well, Shekhar Kapoor, who's an outstanding international director.
Yes.
Shekhar and I go back a long way as well. And I remember somewhere along the lines his mentioning to me that he had met you in London. I think, you know, you were performing Mamma Mia, ABBA's.
Yes,
You know?
yes.
And then he brought Rahman actually to the show, you know. Now tell me about your role in Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia was definitely when it was the paying your dues kind of job. You know, I came fresh out of drama college in England, and I was ensemble. I was glorified wallpaper, what you call it, but it was a good ensemble role. And you know, I was a little kid, just coming fresh out of school, and so the experience is wonderful because I got to be part of the original cast. I got to work with Benny and Bjorn from ABBA, which was a trip, and that was great. And I also was an understudy for the lead. So, you know, being an understudy, when your person who you're understudying gets sick or they're on holiday, you have to step up to the plate. So I got the call one night and they said, Karen, you have to go up because you know, the girl playing your part was sick. So I said, okay, fine. So I went up, and it just so happened the casting director was talking with Rahman about Bombay Dreams, and he mentioned to Rahman about myself and said, you must come and see Karen perform. So Rahman came on the night that I was doing my understudy. So it was great, and he loved the performance, and the next thing I know, I get a call from the casting director at the end of my performance. So this is about 10:30 at night, and he says, Karen, can you be at this man's house in half an hour? And it sounded really dodgy. And I said, this doesn't sound too good, you know, but he said, no, trust me, you want to meet this person. And I said, well, who is he? And he said, well, he's a huge Bollywood composer, you know, A.R. Rahman. And it just didn't click in. I was thinking, I think I've heard of this name somewhere. I thought, okay, and my mom, who calls me all the time, being the baby of the family and being far away from home, so she's saying, you know, are you going home now? Are you going to get on the train? And I said, actually, I got to be at this person's house. And she said, whose? And I said, oh, some guy named A.R. Rahman. And there was just dead silence on the phone. My mom said, did you just say A.R. Rahman? And then my father was also there too, and they said, oh, you better go. So I went over to his house, and Andrew Lloyd Webber was over there too, and Don Black. And they were all working on what we now know as Bombay Dreams, and they wanted me to help develop the project, and it was great.
You know, we're doing a television special with Karen David. There's more to come on the program. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.